get started, I'm reaching out to you today because you created a resolution that was proposing some counties from both Maryland and our coverage area over here in Southwest Virginia to join West Virginia. I was kind of wondering where the idea for this resolution. Well, first, can you explain what the resolution is?
So the resolution extends an invitation to three counties in Western Maryland and 27 counties currently in the state of Virginia, mostly in the southwestern corridor, and pretty much every county that borders the entire state of West Virginia that bumps up against Virginia to join West Virginia. And this resolution will be sent to the state legislators of Virginia and Maryland, and also the congressional representatives of us and the in our adjoining states that we're extending the invitation to. And we're also going to send it to our state's governor and the President of the United States because we truly believe that these counties we've currently extended an invitation to, which there has been ideas to do this in the past, but this is the most broad version that's ever been done. They have a lot more in common with us than the states they currently are attached to. And even though it's been a long time since this has happened, this isn't totally new or unprecedented. West Virginia was formed in a very similar way, but this is just something we feel like was starting to build momentum going into the pandemic. There was counties in Maryland and Virginia that were talking about this prior to COVID. That conversation was never fully had. So this is to restart the conversation, extend the invitation, and our lieutenant governor and our governor of West Virginia both fully support this resolution and want to help make this happen.
And so, I mean, you kind of already said like this wasn't an original idea. This is something that's been going on since before the pandemic. But where did you come up with the idea to make this broader and make this actually put it back in motion?
So I had some people. I worked in the coal mines, even though I'm lifelong West Virginia, and I worked in the coal mines in southwestern Virginia for many years with Consol Energy, and I got to know a lot of the people in the coal community and natural gas community in that part of Virginia. And after being drowned out continuously by people who moved to Virginia to work in DC, so we're talking Nova. There's people from California and New York come to work for the federal bureaucracy that continues to grow, but they live in Northern Virginia or over in Eastern Maryland, and they're starting to outnumber the natural native Virginians and native Marylanders, and their voices are being drowned out. So after the way the elections went in a very surprising fashion, and especially the Attorney General's race, which I won't go too far into that topic, but I had a lot of people reach out to me and said, this idea has been out around there before. Will you please champion this and give us an opportunity to finish having this conversation? We want our voices to be heard. We want our vote at the elections to matter. We want freedom. And we feel like we identify with West Virginia more than we do Eastern Virginia or Eastern Maryland. And I said, absolutely. I will extend the olive branch of freedom. I will get it through the West Virginia Senate, and I'll also help try to mobilize a grassroots coalition to get this done in your states as well.
So, when I talked to Senator Tim Kaine about this, well, I wasn't the one who talked to him about it, but in a press thing, one of the reporters did talk to him about it. And he, to be frank with you, he laughed and he said that would never happen. Do you think this could actually happen?
Well, I mean, he's right to say that it's a long shot, but it could happen. I mean, Maine and Massachusetts was a state at one point. West Virginia and Virginia were a state at one point. And Kentucky, West Virginia and Virginia was all one of our territories before we were a nation at one point. So, I mean, to immediately say it has 0% chance, I mean, I think that's a mistake. I mean, is it a long shot to convince Virginia and Maryland's legislatures to let these counties go? Yeah, I would say that we probably have an uphill battle on our hands. But just because it's an uphill battle doesn't mean it's not a fight worth having and a conversation worth having as well. I would say that, if we can build the grassroots support, and I definitely could tell you it's there, the amount of phone calls and emails and people that's reached out to myself and my staff and so many other of my colleagues. I mean, the support is there. And Senator Kaine, if you're watching this interview, I mean, I'm not taking any digs at you, but I would definitely take the frustrations of your constituents seriously because they do not feel like their voices are being heard in your states. So there's definitely a momentum, and some former state senators in Virginia I'm talking to about this as well. And I got some upcoming meetings with some of your current representatives. So there's definitely more appetite for this than there ever has been in recent history. So I wouldn't say the percentage is zero. We do have a long uphill battle on our hands. I will be honest, it is an uphill battle, but it's a fight that, myself and many of our fellow mountaineers, as I'm going to call them, from West Virginia, Virginia, and Maryland are all they're all wanting to have this conversation, and they think it's a fight worth taking up.
Absolutely. Um, so You had mentioned it already, but this would have to be approved by both Maryland and Virginia. Like, can you kind of break down and walk me through the process of creating this resolution to where it would need to go and what it would require to get support and make this happen?
So yeah, so the resolution from West Virginia is just basically a symbol that if these counties, if we can get this legislation through the legislature of Virginia and through the legislature of Maryland, and then finally approved by Congress in the end, because that is the additional factor here, Congress would also have to approve this. But if that would happen, West Virginia would be more than happy and more than willing and able to take these counties in and provide the freedom and representation that they so much deserve and desire. And we're also going to be willing to help with the movement. That's what our resolution does. But then the ball shifts to the actually getting this done in the state legislatures. So obviously, it is an uphill battle, and it is mutual benefit. For West Virginia would gain congressional seats, we would gain population. There's definitely some tourist attractions and some coal mining and gas resources. So I'm not going to say that we don't gain from it as well by having some of our fellow mountaineers have country roads take them home, so to speak. But no, definitely we need to have the conversation with the representatives that live in these counties and continue to get them. So they need to start being more vocal about this. And some of them are showing support already, but it would take them introducing legislation and then us helping them get it across the finish line in both respective legislatures. And then we would have obviously the conversation with Congress. So obviously there's a lot of moving pieces of this and everything has to go the right way. But that's how this would go. We would introduce a resolution, then representatives in the respective states would have to introduce official legislation. Then it would have to go to those states and it would have to go to Congress for final approval. But obviously, our resolution says if these counties, any of these counties that are being invited, and I'm going to be honest with you, the list from Virginia is probably going to grow because the amount of interest we're getting is growing. And there may be some counties from Pennsylvania included in this as well because this has ignited some conversations in southwestern Pennsylvania. We're definitely going to try to keep this momentum going. And, at the very minimum, maybe we can, if we can't get this all the way across the finish line, maybe then Richmond and the people that are ignoring our friends in Western Maryland, maybe Nova will start listening to our friends in Southwestern Virginia a little more because they're definitely the frustration is there. But at the end of the day, our governor, our Senate president, and myself and all my colleagues want to help make this happen.
And I mean, you had already touched on it a little bit, but this goes beyond just helping citizens. I mean, this would help the state of West Virginia a little bit, or a lot of it, honestly, to give it, like you said, congressional seats, economic benefits. I mean, can you expand a little bit more on that? Would you mind?
Oh no, absolutely. So a lot of these counties we'd invite, like Maryland, for example, you Deep Creek, very huge tourist attraction, makes a lot of revenue for its area and obviously for the state of Maryland currently. Southwestern Virginia, a lot of farmland. We're in the eastern part of our state's a huge ag. We have a lot of farmers in my part of the state as well, but it's more cattle instead of crop. The parts of Virginia would be a lot of more crop and also has a lot of beef and cattle farming, a lot of metallurgical coal mining in the southwestern part of the state, a lot of gas, a lot of natural gas development. Obviously some universities, some major universities like Virginia Tech could be included in this. So there's definitely some benefits to West Virginia. I won't dispute that. Electoral votes, congressional seats, and population growth. But obviously we offer freedoms and protection. There was a big during the last Democrat administration in Virginia, there was a big issue with Second Amendment rights. We are probably one of the most pro Second Amendment states in the entire union. Obviously the southwestern part of Virginia, they want to be able to, the coal miners and gas workers want to be able to go put food on the table and earn money for their families without worrying about, politics from Richmond trying to shut their industries down. We're one of the most pro coal and gas states in the entire country. And, we have over 300 years of it already in the parts of our reserves. So we know how to do it. We know how we're actually growing it. We're actually trying to do 50 gigawatts by 2050, which would more than triple the electric generation we're producing in West Virginia. And those parts of Virginia could be part of that. So, I mean, there's definitely a lot of mutual benefits to us and the counties that we're inviting. It's something that all parties involved would benefit from, and they would finally have their voices heard. We're more like-minded culturally and politically, and I just think it's just a natural fit. And again, it is a long shot. It's been done before in American history. It's just been a very long time. But this is also the first time in a very long time we've had president in Donald Trump, who I much support. But you know, it's been a long time since we had a president that served two non-consecutive terms. So things do have history has a way of repeating itself a little bit here. So let's not rule it out completely in this conversation we're fighting and having.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's all of my questions, but is there anything I'm not asking that I should be asking or that you wanted to add?
Yeah, so obviously the big elephant in the room for many of your listeners and people reaching out to me is what can they do? How can they help make this grow? What can they do if they support this? Or, even for the ones, to be fair, the ones that maybe even oppose it. So for the ones that are supporting it, we're working on creating a landing page for a petition. Hopefully that's available, here directly. I would like to start be able to collect names and zip codes and emails and things like that so we can start going to more direct representatives saying, this is how many people in your county want this. And then going to this representative over here, this is how many people in your county want this. So we can, show the true interest for the movement. Right now we've got a spreadsheet we're collecting all that on as people reach out to us, but we're going to put a landing page out there to be able to collect more. And when we get that, I'll get that over to you to maybe continue with the story on this. But that's exactly what we're going to do is now start the grassroots effort of this. So right now I would tell them get all your friends that support this together, get the information off of them, and compile some lists and get them over to me so we can keep that track of that as we try to build this landing page. Because we want your voices to be heard. We want to be able to help this movement grow. This wasn't posted as a joke. This wasn't posted as some social media meme. We truly mean it when we want our fellow mountaineers to have those beautiful country roads to bring them on home.
Absolutely. If they do collect those lists of their friends' names that support this and their names that support this, should they email that to you until that landing page is up, or how would you like them to send that to you?
Absolutely. They can email it directly to me at chris.rose@wvsenate.gov. And we'd be happy to, add that to the list that we currently have that are that continue to grow. And when the landing page gets up, we'll do a mass update on social media and also out to our email list that we've already collected from the good people of Virginia and Maryland and be able to help spread that around as well. So the overwhelming support that's came in for this has been tremendous. I do think, while this has been mentioned a couple of times in the past, this is probably the biggest attention it has gotten in recent history. So let's not let the moment fade. Let's not let it turn into a meme. Let's actually continue to build this movement and be able to deliver the freedom for so many people that are crying out for it.
Absolutely. Perfect. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to add?
Other than that, if people want to keep up with this movement, they can follow me on social media at Facebook and X at Chris Rose WV.